在第二个阶段的时候，我们人面临着出生，然后接生的人看着这个孩子的生殖器就说，她是个女孩。
She will never be an it again. She is sexed and simultaneously human. This is her genital sex.
她不再是那个植物的那个她了，她是有了性别，她被赋予了性别，同时也成为了一个人。这个就是她的生殖器的性别。
Third, she is held more carefully, cuddled more, bounced less, and talked to more than baby boys are. This is the beginning of her gender identity.
然后在第二个阶段，就是跟男孩子相比的话，这些小女孩她们被搂得更紧一些，她们被抱得更多，她们抱的时候跳得更少一些，而且我们对她说的也更多。这个是相比男孩子而言，这也就是她的性别认同的开始。
Fourth, sometime between 18 months and 2 years, she begins to call herself a girl. This is her gender identity. She notices and can tell others that there are people like her and people different from her.
在第四个阶段的时候，我们指的是这个女生在18个月到2岁期间，她称自己是女孩，这个就是她的性别认同。她能够意识到，也能够注意得到，她可以区分有的人跟她一样，有的人跟她不一样。那些跟她不一样的人就是男孩子。
The different ones are boys. Between 18 months and 2 years, little girls can identify girl dolls as being like them. By the time they are 3, almost all know their gender and know that it corresponds to their genital organs. That is, they know that boys have penises and girls have vulvas, even though they may use other names for their organs. This is the consolidation of a girl's gender identity.
在18个月到2岁期间，小女孩就可以认出玩具娃娃是跟她们一样的，就是什么样的女娃，就是玩具的女娃娃，她能够知道跟她自己是类似的。到她们3岁的时候，基本上都知道了自己的性别，还知道这个性别与她们的这个生殖器是相对应的。也就是说，她们知道男孩有阴茎，而女孩是有外阴。即使她们可能会用一些其他的名字来将这些生殖器来命名，这个就是一个女孩子她的这样的一个生殖器的认同的一个巩固期。
Fifth, she falls in love with someone in her world when she is between 3 and 6 years old. This is object choice, although there is no conscious choice involved.
第5个阶段，当这个女孩子在3到6岁的时候，她会爱上她世界当中的某一个人，这个就是客体的选择，虽然这并不是有意识的选择。
Between 3 and 6, gender roles become established. Boys fight, girls play with dolls.
3到6岁期间，性别角色开始建立起来，男孩子会打架，女孩子喜欢玩洋娃娃。
Even when well-meaning adults try to get girls to play with guns and boys to play with dolls, children usually resist.
即便是有好心的人试图让这个女孩子去玩枪，让男孩子去玩洋娃娃，但是这个孩子们通常都会拒绝。
They want to work on being gender appropriate, as defined by what they hear in bedtime stories, what they see on TV, and what the other kids do and say.
他们希望表现得跟自己的性别是相对应的，也就是说，他们从他们睡前听到的这个故事当中，从电视节目里面看到，以及他们从别的孩子身上学到的这些什么样才跟自己的性别是相适应的行为。
This is the crucial time for establishment of gender role.
这个是我们建立性别角色的一个基础阶段。
Sixth, the girl figures out her being one of the group of females, builds relationships with them, and learns what ways of behaving that are normal for them fit her. She finds her way into interactions with the opposite sex. This happens most intensely between age 6 and puberty.
在第6个阶段，她明白了，这个小女孩明白了自己属于女性群体中的一员，她与她们建立关系，并学着对她们而言，怎么样才是适合自己作为女性的这样的一个行为方式，而且她设法与异性打交道。这个大多发生在6岁到青春期这一个阶段，也就是我们说的潜伏期。
We call this latency.
我们就称之为潜伏期。
Seventh, as an adolescent, she begins to menstruate and to play out her sexual desires with girls or boys or both, she becomes a woman.
在第7阶段的时候，作为一个青少年，他开始来了月经初潮，并与男孩或者是女孩，甚至是两者一起开始释放他的这个性欲望。这个时候，他就变成了一位女性。
7, as an adolescent, she begins to menstruate and to play out her sexual. 8, she conceives a new ovum, and if it is fertilized, she may become a mother.
第8个阶段，她自己也可以就是孕育这样的卵子，然后这个卵子如果受精的话，她就有可能也成为一名母亲。
9th, she stops menstruating at menopause at about age 50 or 55. She spends much of her psychic energy from then on nurturing others.
在第9个阶段，她就处在了更年期，大概在50到55岁的时候就面临着停经。于是这个时候，她将大部分时间、大部分精力花在照顾和养育他人身上。
So this is all about average development, but things can go differently at any stage, and that's why becoming a woman is very complicated.
这个只是我说的一个每个人发展的一个平均水平。那么每个人在每个发展阶段都可能有不一样，这也就让我们就是成为女人这个过程变得非常的复杂。
At any stage, something can go wrong, or something can heal up something that went wrong at a previous stage.
有时候在某一些阶段可能会发生一些错误，或者是后面的这个阶段发生的错误，有可能会让我们前面的这个阶段也就是也出现问题。
So today I would like to focus on the 5th, 6th, and 7th stages. That is the edible stage, the latency stage, and the adolescent stage, because that is when psychic development is the most fragile and the most easily injured.
我今天将会把这个焦点放在第5阶段、第6阶段和第7阶段，也就是俄狄浦斯期、潜伏期和这个青春期，因为这几个阶段是我们心理发展最重要的时刻，也是最敏感、最脆弱的时刻。
Some people claim that the edible situation has no meaning in China because the child is raised by grandparents or by other family members, and the edible triangle does not develop. But that's not really so.
有人说，就是在中国这个俄狄浦斯的这个冲突是没有什么意义可言的，因为他觉得在中国很多孩子都是由祖父母带大，或者家庭其他成员就是养大的，就没有形成这样的一个三角关系。
Oedipus in the story did not grow up with his own parents. He had foster parents.
俄狄浦斯本身这个故事里面，他也不是被自己的亲生父母养大的，他是被这个收养他的父母养大的。
Yet, what happened in his life happened between him and his biological parents. The father he killed was his biological father, and the mother he married was his biological mother.
发生在他跟他亲生父母身上的故事是，他杀了他的亲生父母，然后他娶了他的亲生母亲。
As my understanding of the edible myth goes, it's a story about what happens when you love someone and that person loves someone else and doesn't give up that other person. So what happens if you love your father but he really loves your mother? Or what happens if you love your mother but she's really with your father?
我认为这个俄狄浦斯的这个三角关系，它的实质就在于，当你喜欢一个人，然后这个人又喜欢另外一个人，而且他也不会放弃另外一个人。比如你喜欢你的父亲，但是你的父亲又喜欢你的母亲，他也不可能放弃你的母亲。或者说你喜欢你的或者说你喜欢你的母亲，你母亲又喜欢你的父亲，他也不可能放弃你的父亲，是这样的一个三角关系。
And it doesn't really matter whether it's your grandparent or your nanny or your father. The idea is that jealousy and envy, competition, fears of losing the loved one, and fear of loss of her love, the fear of being punished, hurt, and even annihilated are still the same.
不管这个你所喜欢的这个人，你所选择的这个人，他是保姆也好，是父亲也好，还是其他的照顾者也好，只要在这个里面发生了这样的关系，就是你喜欢他，然后他又喜欢别人，只要这样的关系发生，这就是一个俄狄浦斯的冲突。
The reason that Oedipal guilt is important is that it is always forgotten at the end of the Oedipal stage, but remains part of the central or organizing fantasy that structures a person's view of the world for the rest of her life.
就是让人觉得最就是不好的就在于，当这个我们因为俄狄浦斯的这种内疚感，因为我们喜欢一个人，然后这个人喜欢另外一个人，我们可能希望另外一个人，就是可能会觉得我们希望另外一个人死掉，或者是消灭，然后我们会因此感到内疚，甚至有恐惧，我们自己也会被消灭的这种内疚感，就是最终被忘记了。但是在我们的人格组织的这个结构的发展当中却留下来了。
I give the example of a case of a woman named Clara, and you can read that. It's very interesting to read because it's a story.
我给大家呈现了这样的案例，有一个案例，它叫 Clara， 就是大家可以读一读，因为这个很好读，就像一个故事一样的。
And her view of the world was expressed very clearly when she told me about when she was in college. She was very poor, so she went to a library, and a young man who was studying there saw her and asked her if she would like to go out to dinner with him. She went out to dinner, and he bought her a steak, and that was very expensive dinner, and she enjoyed the steak very much, and she stayed with him just during the dinner, and then she never saw him again. And I said to her, you might be telling me that story because you think that you are my steak dinner.
他说在这个个案身上发生了这样的一个故事，就是让我们看到这个病人他是怎么看待这个世界的。他跟我讲了一个故事，这个病人叫 Clara 的病人，他说他在这个大学期间是非常贫穷的，然后他有一天到那个图书馆里面去，遇到了一个年轻的男子，然后这个年轻的男子呢就邀请他一起外出就餐，就餐的过程当中就给他点了一份非常就是昂贵的牛排，然后他吃了以后他非常高兴，他也就是很享受这样的一个晚餐。但是就是吃了这个晚餐以后，他再也没有跟这个男性联系。然后我当听了这个故事以后，我给这个病人的回应就是：你是不是害怕也成为我的这个像牛排一样的晚餐？就是这个病人成为治疗师的这个晚餐。
As I was listening to Jeffrey earlier, I was thinking that the patient, Maria, he was talking about, may have wanted to speak to him on the phone or have him send her a text message, because those were moments when he was showing he wanted contact with her even though she was not paying him for it. Without having to pay for it, he would only contact with her because he wanted her.
今天上午 Jeffrey 的这个案例里面，那个叫Majority， 这个 Maria 这个病人，就是他说他没有跟治疗师联系，然后那个想通过这个治疗师用电话和短信跟他联系的方式，说明这个病人他可能会想，是不是这个只有付费的时候他才能够得到治疗师的关注。
And when he did that, my understanding was that she understood him as someone who cared about her as a person, not just someone who was paying him.
当 Jeffrey 教授通过短信跟他联系以后，然后这个病人会感觉到他是这个治疗师真的关心他，不是因为就是关心他作为一个人，而不是说只是因为他的付费才会这么关心他。
But this longing to be loved is an Oedipal longing. That's the Oedipal longing. I want to be loved.
这个就是一个俄狄浦斯的这个渴望，就是我渴望被爱。
The second stage, the next stage that I want to talk about, latency.
然后第二个部分，我想跟大家讨论的是这个潜伏期。
is a time when the child goes to school and learns how to do schoolwork and to be a good worker.
这个时候是一个孩子，就是走向学校，然后在学校里面去学习怎么样去学得更好，怎么样去变成一个好的工作者。
The things that a girl needs to learn in school are the same as the things that a boy needs to learn in school, so that she has to somehow do what a boy does, but still feel like a girl.
这个时候我们女孩子在学校里面去学东西，就跟男孩子一样，要面临着同样的这个学习任务。但是对于女孩子来讲，她还要让自己可以感觉到自己还是个女生。
And get together the idea of being like a boy in some ways, being able to do math, being able to do schoolwork, but different from a boy in other ways, in that she is one of the girls.
一方面她要跟男生一样，就是去学习，比如说数学呀、体育啊等等这样的一个更男性化的这样的一些东西。另外一方面，她要保证自己有这种属于女性团体的一部分这样的一个感受。
For a girl who is very successful at these things, it is particularly difficult to get together the idea of being a good worker and being a good mother.
对这个学业方面，就在数学跟这些好像是男孩子这种比较擅长的这些学业方面，比较优秀的女生，她可能更加困难去整合自己的这个比较成功的这一部分，就是作为一个好的学者或者一个好的这个工作者和自己作为一个好的妈妈之间的这种冲突。
The better she is at her work, the less motherly she feels.
她如果在工作当中做得越好，她可能就会越觉得自己妈妈的这一部分，就是作为一个妈妈的这个部分，更缺乏一些。
And the more motherly she feels and the more she gives of herself to being a mother, the less she feels she has full work.
如果她在家里就是更多的感受到自己的这个母性做妈妈的这一面，她又会觉得自己在工作上面可能会有一些缺失。
And this is a conflict that all women have.
这个是所有的女性都有的这种冲突。
But particularly those who have the success in latency that makes them want to continue in their career.
但是对这种在潜伏期里面就已经非常成功的女孩子来讲，而且她以后要发展成为一个非常好的工作者，这个对这一部分女性是更加困难的。
And the last stage that I want to talk about is adolescence.
最后一个阶段，我想跟大家讨论的是这个青春期。
In adolescence, there is a big push to become a sexually active human being.
在青春期的时候，我们有这种很强大的推动力，让每个女人有这种性的这样的一些表现，性的行为。
The woman who I took as an example of this kind of difficulty that can happen in adolescence is someone I called Marjorie.
我给大家在这个青春期这个部分举的这个例子，这个女孩子名字叫Marjorie。
She had a much more difficult time in her work than in her role as a mother.
她在工作当中的这个问题，比她在做母亲的时候的这个问题要更多一些。
She had early success in her business career, but gave it up because she couldn't tolerate being the sole support of her family.
她很早的时候就在事业上取得很大的成功，但是不得不放弃这样的成功，因为
She couldn't tolerate being the one who brought in all the money.
但是她不能够忍受自己作为这个家庭经济收入的这个主要来源，所以她不得不放弃她的工作。
When her husband stayed home to take care of the baby,
当她的丈夫就是在家里面全职照顾这个孩子的时候，
she felt too jealous and angry.
她觉得很嫉妒，而且也很愤怒。
She couldn't allow him to do that work.
她不能够允许自己的丈夫就是做这个职业。
But it was very difficult when her husband asked, she took off from work and stayed home with the child, and he became the one who made the money. He went into business instead of being an artist.
然后她最后就放弃了工作，留在家里面照看孩子。她的丈夫呢就开始外出工作，成为了家里经济收入的主要来源。然后也在这个艺术行业就是开始从商。
She became depressed and anxious and unable to care for her daughter, even with the help of a very competent and caring nanny.
她开始变得非常的抑郁和焦虑，尽管就是有一个很能干的这个保姆帮她在家里带孩子，但是她还是很难去在家里面照顾孩子。
He had become a very successful advertising man, and he traveled a lot, and she complained that she was lonely, but she also complained that she didn't have as much as other women had.
然后他开始四处的这个旅游，然后用一些就是比较贵的奢侈品，
He had to travel a lot, be away from home a lot, which left her feeling very sad and angry and lonely. Her husband traveled when he made the money, and she had to stay home and she felt so lonely.
然后她的丈夫因为这个事业的原因，就要在外出差，就是经常在外出差，就让这个病人感觉到非常的孤独，在家里面就是感觉到很孤独。
So her problem related to adolescent development. By staying with her band of brothers, she had a group of brothers, she was the only girl in the family. First in her actual family, and later the men in her classes, and still later the male colleagues at work. Rather than choosing a field in which there were other women, she encountered a stress in her female role that was exacerbated by her adolescent difficulty in integrating her intellectual achievements with her female body and its imperatives to have sex and her longing to have babies.
然后这个病人他在这个青春期发生的这个问题就在于，他家中我们看到他的这个生活史是这样的，他是家里面6个孩子的，里面最小的一个，而且是唯一的一个女儿。他小的时候跟这个几个兄弟，就是几个哥哥之间的这种在一起的这种相处，以及他后来慢慢发展在学校里面主要跟男孩子的相处，还有包括他选择了一个大部分都是男性的这样的一个领域的工作，这个是导致了他的这个青春期就是出现问题的原因。
She was able to hold her life together until she was faced with the sexual and maternal aspects of marriage and motherhood. The things she should and could have settled in adolescence were now troubling her as an adult. The things she could and should have settled in adolescence were now troubling her as an adult.
就在他青春期本来应该就是已经进一步巩固和固定的这样的一些东西，就是没有能够得到巩固。
So, are there questions up to here?
到这个地方为止，大家有什么问题吗？
Okay, so then we'll read the discussion.
那我们直接进入到讨论的这个部分。
So in all three of these cases, the fear of loss of femininity acts as a powerful inhibitor, counterbalanced by a fear of loss of function in a man's world.
在这3个案例当中，就是害怕失去这样的一个女性的特质，同时也作为了一个这个害怕失去在男性这个世界的这样的一个正常的功能运作，这个是一个相互矛盾、相互抑制的这样的一个恐惧，这两种恐惧结合在一起。
Being both requires a flexibility that comes from the infantile experience of having been seen as both part of mother and a separate person who is not part of mother.
从我们婴儿期的这个体验开始，我们就被看作是一方面被看作是母亲的一部分，另外一方面又被看成是就是与母亲分离的一个独特的个体。然后这一部分 都是需要我们对这个处理需要有灵活性的。
Being able to be both comes from having had the back and forth experience of running away from and hurrying back to the person who is the safe haven, whether that person is mother, father, nanny, grandparent, or caregiver.
不管这个照顾者他是母亲、父亲，还是我们的这个主要的其他的这个照顾者，或者我们的保姆等等这样的人，我们要能够就是一方面从他身边跑开，去探索外在的世界；另外一方面，我们又能够可以去回到他们这个属于安全港湾的这个地方。
Being a mother is the essential female role.
成为母亲是这个角色当中非常关键的一个点。
It's the one thing that boys and men cannot do.
这个是唯一男性不能做到的事情。
Young women who have maintained their femininity while functioning in roles socially relegated to males face a greater challenge once they decide to become mothers.
女性她们就是在
For example, if a young woman is a lawyer or an engineer or a doctor, she faces a greater challenge once she decides to become a mother.
当一个就是女性，她在这种比较男性化的职业当中，比如说她是一个医生或者她是一个律师，如果她有这样的一个职业的话，在她成为母亲的时候就会出现困难。
The biological imperatives and the push toward identification with their own mothers, stirred up by pregnancy and childbirth, force a change in self-image that is very difficult for all of them.
从这个生理的这样的一个现象来看，还有包括从这个对他们自己母亲的认同，就让就是这样的一些情况，在我们每个女性怀孕或者是有一个孩子的时候，这一点就被激发出来了。
But may be impossible for some.
这个激发出来就是让我们每个人怎么样去整合这样的比如说一边工作一边去做一个母亲，对有些女性来讲，这一点就完全不可能整合。
The first two women I talked about, Clara and Ellen, managed to hold on to both roles, even though they had great difficulty in doing that.
我讲的这个前面两个案例当中，这个 Clara 和 Arlene， 他们能够同时在两个方面处理得很好，虽然他们还是有着很多的困难。
The third young woman, Marjorie, could not combine the images once she became a mother.
但是第三个这个案例 Marjorie， 她就不能够把这两个角色整合，就是当她做了妈妈以后，她是很难去整合这两个角色的。
What made the difference?
这个他们之间到底存在什么样的不同呢？
Why did they suffer so much in what to the outside world looked like very successful and even desirable lives?
为什么他们感觉还这么痛苦？尽管他们在外界看来，他们的这个两方面的生活都非常的完满。
Clara had a mother who had tamed her wild husband.
Clara 这个病人呢，她有一个母亲，她觉得她的母亲是驯服了她的父亲。
In this way, Clara saw her mother as powerful and effective.
通过这样的一个形式，她认为她的妈妈是非常的有力量的，非常就是有效的这样的一个母亲。
Her mother had also managed to run a large household, provide good meals, educate her children, decorate the family home, garden, and make most of the family's clothes.
她的就是大家要记住这一点，她的母亲，这 Clara 的母亲，她虽然就是不工作，但是她把家庭就是维持得很好，而且她参与了很多这个慈善的事业，而且她也就是负责就是家里面的这个花园的修剪呐，还要负责就是制作家里面成员的衣服，去做了很多家庭的事情。
Clara believed that she got a lot of her belief in her own capacities from identifying with her competent mother.
Clara 认为她之所以这么就是有自信，相信自己可以做得这么好，是因为她认为她的母亲也是一个非常能干、非常有能力的母亲。
Her mother had given Clara enough self-confidence to make the leap from her poor rural community to corporate life in New York by being both a strong person to identify with and by believing in and encouraging Clara's own intellectual development.
也就是 Clara 的这个能干的母亲，让她可以有自信，从一个贫穷的这样的一个乡村地方离开这个乡村，然后到达一个比较繁华的城市里面，并且鼓励 Clara 她可以去发展她自己成功的事业。
Clara said that she felt sure that her mother was the backbone of the family and that she loved Clara.
她也坚信，就是她的母亲是这个家庭里面的主心骨，而且她也相信她的母亲是很爱她的。
But Clara also identified with her wild, bad boy father.
但是 Clary 也很认同她的这个比较野的父亲。
That identification made it hard for her to follow the rules.
这个认同呢，让她很难去遵守规则。
Much of Clara's difficulty in keeping to what she regarded as the rules was projected onto me, her husband, and her children. Her difficulty in keeping to the rules was projected onto me, her husband, and her children.
就她对她父亲这部分就是比较不遵守规则这部分的认同，也投射到了我和她的这个丈夫。